NBA Today, Malika Andrews here with Janae Agumake and Kendrick Perkins. Our front office insider, Bobby Marks, he is going to be joining us in a matter of minutes. But we're getting into the second round of the WNBA playoffs, my friends. And after 4 first-round sweeps, the semifinals, they tip off this Sunday on ABC and ESPN. But the playoffs, they've also brought a heightened attention to conversations around racism and online hate that the players have been subjected to. The Sun's Alyssa Thomas spoke earlier about this week, and with specific attention here to the Fever and their fans. Indiana held their end-of-season exit interviews this morning, and Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, they were asked about the issue.
It's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls.
It's hard to hear, but it's also the truth in some way. I mean, I wouldn't put everything on Fever fans, but I mean, just overall on social media, I mean, there has been so much hate spread, and even being on this team, like, to start the season, I was at the other end of those hate comments. I was at the other end of every single thing that's to come. They say they support the Fever and everything like that, but I mean, they just said everything under the earth.
There are so many positive storylines that can be written and celebrated, and for me, that's why I became a fan of this league, is these people were my idols. I grew up wanting to be like them. So I think continuing to uplift and, represent this league in a positive way is the best thing that we can do.
So again, that was Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston this morning. Janae, what's your reaction to what we just heard?
Well, there are 2 unequivocal truths that I know about the WNBA. 1, it's the most competitive women's basketball league in the world. And 2, the WNBA will always stand on its standards. And the players are always ahead of the curve with communicating this. Basically, what we have just heard from Caitlin in her experience is that her name has been used in multiple agendas that don't serve the game. And then we heard from Aaliyah that she's been on the receiving end of what that can be like in reality, with people criticizing things that are completely out of bounds. But one thing that I have enjoyed in the midst of all of the beautiful playoff basketball that we've been witnessing is the fact that the players are using their platforms, their voices, to remind people what that standard is. The standard is that there's no place for racism, there's no place for sexism. The only place that there is to respect the game. That's what they want everyone to focus on. And I know there's been an influx of fans that have really changed a lot of the communicative dynamics, but at the end of the day, we're here for one reason, the same reason that Caitlin spoke to why she chose to come to the WNBA. It's for the game to speak for itself and not let the trolls do the talking.
No, I'm with you 1,000%, Shanae. You know the beautiful part about it is, right, we're watching 2 young WNBA All-Stars that got a superstar ceiling speak out on their platform, and they should, right? We should appreciate what they've done for this WNBA season, what Caitlin Clark has brought to the table, what Boston has brought to the table, what Angel Reese has brought to the table this season, and I think it's been a beautiful thing to see again. We can't control the trolls. The trolls are labeled the trolls for a reason. There's no place for racism. I just want to appreciate the game. I just want to appreciate Caitlin Clark and what she done for the game of basketball, and appreciate what Angel Reese and so many others has done. This has been a beautiful season for the WNBA. We can't let negative people chime in and deflect us away from talking about what matters the most, and that's those young ladies going out there and doing their damn thing.
Caitlin Clark's comments, Perk, were exactly on point. Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and we're seeing the league continue to grow. And I think all of us here hope to be able to see the fans be able to grow and really listen to what these women are asking for in the support of their league. I do want to stick in the W here. Some surprising news out of Chicago. The Sky, they fired head coach Teresa Weatherspoon after just 1 season. Now, the Sky, they were in playoff contention, remember, for most of the year, but then they struggled a bit after the Olympic break, going just 3-13. They also lost star rookie Angel Reese to a wrist injury. That was on September 7th. That was a huge blow to their roster. And Angel Reese posted this in response to Teresa's firing. Quote, I'm heartbroken. I'm literally lost for words knowing what this woman meant to me in such a pivotal moment in my life. She was the only person that believed in me, the one that trusted me, and many don't even know what it's like to be a black woman in sports when nobody believes in you. You didn't deserve this, but I can't thank you enough. I love you, teaspoon. So, Janae, were you surprised to see this news?
I was surprised to see this news, and I think it's the last part of what Angel Reese said. You didn't deserve this. And I think there's more context to this if people don't know who she is. This woman, Teresa Witherspoon, is a Hall of Famer who was voted top 20 players in the WNBA ever, who came in with coaching pedigree that include being a developmental coach on the New Orleans Pelicans squad. And that's how she entered the W, with a great situation in which you have two of the top rookies in the WNBA, but also realizing that it's a difficult situation because it's hard to establish an identity in that process. I think it's hard when you have these superstar players. People expect winning in some ways because you have tremendous talent in the likes of Angel Reese making history. But the reality is, it's very difficult to establish an identity with just such a limited runway. Just 1 year before the decision is made, that to me was the most surprising thing. But I can see how it feels like Chicago, there was no direction and it just led to this hard decision.
Yeah, I mean, and look, that's why when the organization, far as the ownership and the front office, have to be on the same page with their coach and back their coach. This is the second franchise player that I done heard be emotionally attached to Teresa Witherspoon like this. We saw Angel Reese comments on social media, but when she was with the Pelicans, Zion Williamson was really connected to her. He really looked up to her. He really valued what she brought to the table. Again, it's a sad day. Do I think she deserved to get fired? No, I don't know all what went on behind the scenes, but just looking at what Angel Reese had to say about her, I guess, I mean, you know, if your franchise player feel that way about her, then maybe the organization should have rethought the situation and brought it back to the table. Maybe she shouldn't have deserved to lose her job.
The Sky finished the season 13-27 again, missed the playoffs, but the playoffs do continue this weekend, my friends, and Sunday is going to be must-see TV. The Liberty, they host Asia Wilson and the Aces. That's at 3 o'clock Eastern on ABC and at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. The Sun, they take on the seemingly unstoppable Nafisa Collier in the Lynx. WNBA Countdown tips off coverage at 2:30. That's over on ABC. All right, and in the NBA, teams report for training camp in just 3 days, and Monday is media day, where for the past 2 years, Jimmy Butler has been the star of the show, rocking a new do each time. He had the dreads 2 years ago, then we got the Fallout Boy look last year. I'm thinking maybe this year is the year of the Mohawk. Our front office insider, Bobby Marks, he also changes up his hair every single training camp. Right, Bobby? What are we going to see there from Jimmy?
I think you're going to see dreads.
All right.
Maybe a little Dennis Rodman this year, too.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of a color.
Well, I mean, I know Jimmy Butler is certainly going to be one question we're anxiously awaiting to see answered. What's that look going to be? It's always a fun surprise. But what else are we looking toward? Bobby, tell us your biggest questions, what they will be, with a little on your marks, get set, go. And let's start out with my favorite city here.
3 big questions. It starts with New York. Who starts at center? We will likely not see Mitchell Robinson to start the year. Tom Thibodeau has said you could see Julius Randle 10 to 15 minutes per game. That leaves Precious Achiuwa, who started 18 games last year, as likely your starting center for New York. The second big thing, Malika, New Orleans. This team is loaded with depth. Who is the starting lineup and who is the odd man out? Could we see CJ McCollum come off the bench? Hasn't come off the bench since his second year. You're looking at Herb Jones, DeJounte Murray, Zion Williamson, Daniel Tice potentially if you need size. Trey Murphy also here. This team is deep here. And then the third, what is the temperament of Jimmy Butler in Miami? The last time Jimmy Butler was up for a contract extension, we all know what happened in 2018. Forced his way out of Minnesota, gets traded to Philadelphia. Butler's got a $52 million player option for next year. Both sides need each other for this marriage to work here.
Okay, so those are your 3 biggest questions heading into Monday's training camp. Perk, are you worried about the note that Jimmy Butler is going to start the season on here? Are you watching Miami as closely as Bobby is?
I am, but I'm watching to see, you know, what kind of start they're going to get off to as a team, right? Because Jimmy Butler, he hasn't signed a contract extension yet, right? And so at the end of the day, I want to see, are they going to be in the middle of the pack, at the back of the pack? Because I feel like, listen, Miami is going to have to make a decision when it comes down to Jimmy Butler. And it's almost to the point, well, how we talk about the Lakers with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I believe it's time for the Miami Heat to really give the keys to the car to Bam Adebayo, in my opinion. That's their guy, right? Jimmy is getting older. Yes, he still is Jimmy Butler. Yes, he's earned his name, Playoff Jimmy, for a reason. But again, you got to start looking towards the future if you're the Miami Heat. And I know Jimmy wants to get paid. No one has ever questioned his professionalism, except a little time he was unhappy in Minnesota. But outside of that, Jimmy Butler's going to strap up his shoes and come to work and do what he's supposed to do. He don't have no choice, especially dealing with the Heat coach.
That's true, Perk. But the transition has happened for so long. The last time we talked about finals runs for the Miami Heat, we talked about Jimmy Butler and his heroics. But now the transition, like you said, the keys have been given to Bam Adebayo. He is their franchise guy. What an offseason for Bam Adebayo, you know, both on and off the court, if we're going to just go there. But what he's been able to do, and prove this man is balling, let's be real here, okay? He's had an amazing summer, but look at the numbers there, 19 points per game, 10 rebounds per game. This is a do-it-all guy. And also, he's 27 years old. They have a young core that they can build for the future. Tyler Hero, 24. Jaime Jaquez Jr., 23. Those three guys, it feels like, are the building blocks of what is to come. Now, Jimmy is going to be a pro, but this is a team that finished 8th in the East last year, lost in the first round. I think Jimmy has a lot to prove, and so does the entire Heat team, but I do think they now center upon Bam.
Right. They sort of feel like they've been in this play-in perpetuity for the last couple of years, and they're going to need Bam, Jimmy Butler, in order to get out of that. And like you said, that young nucleus that they have here today. All right, we got a lot to get to because the season, welcome back to NBA Today. So the Warriors, they are going to look a little bit different this season. It will be the first year that they will start without Klay Thompson on their roster since 2010. One half of the Splash Brothers, Golden State, his career ended with a sign-and trade that sent Thompson, of course, to the Dallas Mavericks. And the Warriors did acquire Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson in that trade, and Golden State also signed DeAnthony Melton as a free agent. But they found little help in the draft. They did not have a first-round pick, remember. So is this enough for Steph Curry becomes the question. The all-time leader in threes signed a one-year extension and is entering his 16th season. The pressure to maximize the window Steph has, Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy already laying out his plays and his plans for the season. Take a listen.
There's no point in going all in to be, slightly above average. You're going to go all in, you got to feel like you're all in. We're probably as impatient as a franchise as you can be right now, given our time horizon and all that. But there's a fine line between impatience and undiscipline. And I feel good about the discipline that we held this summer and the roster we built and the growth from within that we're going to have. And so we're in a good spot heading this year. And I know everybody's always looking for big headline breaking news and all that, but I really like this team.
So Golden State finished outside the playoffs in 2024 with their 46 wins, and Kevin Pelton and his metrics projected them to be in the same area in 2025. But Bobby Marks, what are the Warriors' roster options this season?
Well, when you traded Klay Thompson, it gave you some roster flexibility, and I think the impatience of Mike Dunleavy, I think you're looking at probably like a 30-day game scenario as far as how you can evaluate the roster. The big thing for me, Malika, these are some things to keep an eye on. Certainly October 21st, that is when Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody are extension eligible. That is the deadline. If neither player are extended, certainly both players could be trade candidates during the season. The other thing is December 15th. That is the first day when DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, those three players can be trade eligible. The expiring contracts of Gary Payton and Kevon Looney, keep an eye on them. And then here's the X factor. As much as Steph Curry and certainly Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, do we see the 2022 version of Andrew Wiggins, the player that averaged 17 points a game? But Malika, when Mike Dunleavy talked, he talked about impatience here. And I know Steph Curry is under contract for the next three years, but when you have an MVP candidate like Curry, You have to maximize that window right now, not within that 3-year span.
Yeah, Bobby, come on back here, because I want to talk a little bit about what exactly does impatience mean here, because the Warriors, they have a couple of options, but the West is tough, and Steph's career, it's not going to last forever. So let's bring Kendrick Perkins back into the conversation here. Chiney Ogwumike, Perk, what does impatient mean to you when you hear that?
I don't know, but look, Steph is in the same category with LeBron. Every single time he's ready to go full strength, you're supposed to do your job of putting the pieces around him so he can go contend and try to win a title. Look, you can't have it where Steph Curry is always bringing chicken to the table and you bringing carrots. It just don't add up. You know what I mean? You got to match his appetite. You got to match his appetite. His appetite is winning championship. Is this a championship level roster? Absolutely not. Do I have faith and hope that Jonathan Kuminga and Podziemski, are they going to get better? Yes, they're going to get better, but it's a tough Western Conference. It's a tough league overall. The East has gotten better, and so Steph wants to win. The happiest I done seen Steph in the last 2 years is when he just won the gold medal and on the Olympic team. He was happy. He hasn't been happy in the Golden State Warrior uniform. That's just my opinion.
This is a big deal because this is a departure from what we've known Golden State always to be. Impatience, that's a different MO because we've known the Golden State Warriors to be truly developmental, right? That got them their dynasty. Steph, Clay, Draymond building together, skill development, even Jonathan Kuminga following under that type of pattern. But now they're impatient. And to me, that means they have to capitalize on Steph Curry's prime. What he's able to do is still tremendous as a shooter, but also most importantly, Steph Curry is a draw. Players want to play with Steph because they thrive in systems in which Steph plays. He's also the type of personality that people love to play with. So if you're going to be able to have a talent like that, a generational talent, you need to be able to keep him happy. And we all know Steph, as we just saw, loves to win. So I want to spin this to you, Bobby, because to me, as you mentioned, it comes down to Wiggins and Kuminga, but especially Kuminga. Kuminga averaged 16 points per game coming off of a career year. What is the best way Golden State can look to their outcome as using Kuminga's contract or either his play for them to be able to draw the right amount of talent for Steph to feel good?
Well, I think that October 21st date comes into play. If there's an extension for Jonathan Kuminga, I would say we take him off the board as far as a trade candidate just because of the restrictions that come with it. And I think it's similar to LeBron James in Los Angeles. When you have the Babe Ruth of basketball on your roster, you have to maximize that right now. In Golden State, tried. When you look at Paul George from this summer, Larry Markin, we can even go back to the trade deadline with LeBron James when they kind of dipped their toe in the water a little bit there.
Right.
They've tried, but we've always said, hey, it takes two to tango, and you've got to find that dance partner to get that next star in Golden State. I think it's the little toe, Perk.
Well, but the question too, Bobby, you know, what's the saying? The Yoda, there is no try, only do. At some point, Steph has to say, okay, trying is good, but I need to see the results here because time is ticking. All right, time's also ticking on our show. The Spurs, they announced that Devin Vassell will be out until at least November 1st as he continues to recover from a surgery to repair a stress reaction in his right foot earlier this year. Vassell was the second leading scorer for the San Antonio Spurs last season. And remember, he's entering the first year of a 5-year, $146 million extension here. Vassell, of course, a key piece for San Antonio going forward, as Tim Bontemps noted on his social media there. Bobby, what does this mean for San Antonio and Victor Wembanyama?
Yeah, certainly for Victor. This is their second best player in Devin Vassell here. And I think how deep the Western Conference is, you do not want to get off to a 2-8 start, and then you're going to be buried and basically playing catch-up here. The positive is that now you have Chris Paul, the kind of that veteran leadership, and certainly Harrison Barnes. I think you'll see maybe a little bit more of Trey Jones along with Chris Paul here, but I think when you get Vassell back, it's a matter of where you are in the standings here. But this is the Spurs team with Victor. I still think they're on the outside looking in, at least from the play-in spot here.
They're going to be trying and clawing to be able to make the play-in in a crowded Western Conference. He averaged that career-high 19.5 points last season. He also averaged career highs in assists and field goal percentage last year. And again, Devin Vassell will be missing this beginning of the season for the San Antonio Spurs. So that's the news today. Do y'all remember, though, what we were doing exactly 1 year ago? There was some news then. Any guesses as to what that is?
Oh, a certain player got traded.
I don't remember what I did yesterday.
Player got traded.
Former
Bobby.
an all-star player got traded.
It's been a year since the Damian Lillard trade, and it swung the power balance of the league, and it really decided the 2024 champion. The Bucks didn't know that at the time. It's not what they thought initially, but Milwaukee wasn't the only group that had some lofty expectations after the move. Here's a reminder of what we all thought. Breaking news to start our show. Damian Lillard is officially a member of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Landing Damian Lillard to go with Giannis Antetokounmpo certainly take on favorite status in the Eastern Conference.
The Bucks look like a problem. My way too early favorite.
They're going to win the NBA championship.
So am I allowed to have an emotion? This is huge.
Yeah, I'm not trying to overreact, but damn it, I'm overreacting. They're winning it all.
I'm overreacting.
You know, we know Perk never, ever overreacts. And, oh, my gosh, I'm going to miss those Woj bombs. But, Perk, you were about as high on Dame as it gets. 1 year later, how are you feeling?
You know what? When the move happened, the trade happened, I love it. I still like it. I don't love it, right? I mean, look, Giannis and Dame got to put it together. Doc finally get a fresh start, meaning coming into training camp. How's Chris Middleton going to look? But Dame and Giannis got to deliver. One, they got to stay healthy, but two, they got to figure out a way how to maximize that two-man game. They got to beat Jamal Murray and Jokic, what they were, 2 years ago. That's what I'm expecting out of them. That's why you have training camp. I still like them. I just don't love them, but that's okay.
Look, real G's move in silence like lasagna. That's a lyric, that's a bar, but should we say real G's move in silence like Giannis? Like Giannis? Because the Bucks have been laying low. They've been laying low, right? But I do think that shows that they're about their business, that they want to come back motivated. I mean, we got a little taste of it. No Christmas Day game. What? Like, we are players that people need to respect. Giannis averaging 30 and 12 on 60% shooting. Dame, we know what he's able to do when it comes to clutch time. But to me, the only cause for pause that I have for this squad is truly their defense. They were 19th in defense last year, under Doc 14th, so there were slight improvements. And then, of course, as Perk alluded to, their stamina. They're a little bit older. Chris Middleton, you worry about him going through 82 games. Giannis was not really healthy when they needed him the most. Dame had to hold it together in the midst of playoffs. So if they have an improved defense and they're healthy over the course of the season, then maybe I can go back to like my emotions and be like, yeah, I love this. And maybe they'll make that push. But still, there's a little cause for pause, but I do like that they're about their business and staying low.
I think that all of that, though, Chiney, has us looking at, okay, if the season doesn't start well for Milwaukee, what's that going to mean here, Bobby?
Well, of course, we're going to point at Giannis. I mean, that's where we're looking at it. And I think when you look back at the trade, certainly, I think there would be more concern for me is if Milwaukee lost in the first round and Giannis was healthy. He wasn't healthy. That's basically 2 years in a row they lose in the first round. And whenever you have a franchise player on your roster, I don't care if he's under contract for 3 years or 4 years, the clock is always ticking for that player, certainly if you don't have success during the regular season.
So you're telling me that they're going to be looking right behind you, and then the real G's move in silence, like, listen. Okay, I get it now. All right, it's no secret that Dave and Giannis, right, they have something to prove this season, but Big Perk, I think it might be time for a big list. Let's call it Big Perk's big list of players that need to prove it. What you got?
Yeah, I was trying to wait, Malik, until I got in the studio, you know what I mean? That's why I ain't got a haircut, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to wait to get a haircut and pull my suit game out. But damn it, it's time, you know what I mean? They started training camp, so I'm going to start now. Big Perks, big list of top 5 players with something to prove this season. Again, this is not y'all list. This is my list. Coming in at number 5. Bam! Put it up there. Karl Anthony Towns. We know what Anthony Edwards is about to do this season. We know what he's bringing to the table. Again, like I said about Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, you can't have Anthony Edwards bringing chicken to the dinner table and you only bringing carrots. Did Karl Anthony Towns ball out in the regular season? Absolutely. Did he have some bright spots last postseason? Absolutely. But he disappeared in the Western Conference Finals, and that cannot happen. He has something to prove, and I feel like he's auditioning. Shanae, where you at? I need your energy. This group participation here. We need it. She came swinging. Julius Randle. No Mitchell Robinson. The team had success last year without you. What are you gonna do? Your jersey wasn't up in the stores. You felt some type of way. Tom Thibodeau say he go consider playing you some at the 5. He's gonna have his opportunity. How is Julius Randle going to embrace his new somewhat role, right? Is he gonna be more of a screen center? He's on the clock. I think he's auditioning as well for the New York Knicks. So he's at number 4. Bobby, where you at, Bobby? Where you at, Bobby? That was it?
I gave you the fist.
We know what he went through. Well, I mean, you know, hey, we know what he went through, right? The last couple of years. We know about the suspension. We knew that he was on the verge of being, if not the face, one of the faces of the league. And all of a sudden, Anthony Edwards took his seat. How is Ja Morant going to come back and get a seat back at that table? I feel like he has a lot to prove. He has to put this organization back to where it was, and that was a top 3 team in the Western Conference. Malika Andrews, where you at, girl?
Kendrick Perkins. Bam!
There we go. Dame Dollar. He playing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're talking about an all-time great, 2 all-time greats playing alongside one another. Can you come out and deliver? We're not asking you to win the championship, Dame Dollar. We're just asking you to get to the promised land. You got a squad in his prime. You got to go out there and shine like new money and deliver. Coming in at number 1. Bam! Put it up there. Joel Embiid.
Oh.
He trusted the process. He trusted the process. It's here now. It's here now. Daryl Morey has done everything and more to make sure he put a championship roster around you. You have Tyrese Maxey, who's one of the bright young stars in the game. You have Paul George, you just picked up in the offseason. You have 0 excuses not to go out there and get it done. Conference finals, minimum. Again, this is my list. I wasn't really prepared for that today because I was waiting for the regular season to start, but damn it, y'all bought it out of.
Shanae, do we got any notes on Perk's list? I'm a little surprised Joel Embiid at 1.
Yeah, I'm not, because there's a lot of pressure in Philly. He finally got that trio, that star, so I'm not surprised there. But Perk, I don't think this guy has much to prove because he led the league in scoring last year and made it to the NBA Finals. But don't we still have great expectations for Luka Doncic? Like, to me, that's someone that could be MVP.
Interesting. Maybe if we did a 6th man on this. She said MVP. What do you think of Perk's list here, Bobby?
Well, Ja Morant for me is the most intriguing. I think we forget how great of a player Ja Morant has, certainly with the suspensions and then the injuries here. And I think the depth in Memphis is going to be tested. They've already lost Gigi Jackson. Now Vince Williams with a foot injury here. And we've all talked about Memphis. This could be a team that could sneak into that top 6 of the Western Conference.
Right. We just saw it when we see them fully healthy with Ja Morant. They were 2 seed in the Western Conference. So certainly lofty expectations. All right. That's Perk's list. But what about it's Friday, so let's have some fun. It's our favorite game. It's Who Said That. We're going to take a look at some of the best, the spiciest, the most interesting quotes that caught our attention, and our esteemed contestants are going to guess who said that. Play along with us, but first, since it's a new year, let's look at the early standings here where Richard Jefferson is up there at 100%. All right, Shanae, you didn't have the best week 1, but we're going to get after it in week 2. We're teeing you up here first. Which WNBA player said this when she got a call from the commissioner? They were like, Kathy Engelbert wants to call you. And I said, oh my God, what did I tweet this time? Was it Dejanay Carrington, Sydney Colson, or Angel Reese?
This was my Stanford sis by way of Baylor 2, Dejanay Carrington.
Was
most improved player in the WNBA.
Dejanay Carrington? She's back, people. She's back.
You were like, Kathy wants to call you, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I tweet this time?
That's what we call
Nailed it.
redemption, Shanae. That's what we call redemption.
Redemption and rejection right there. I don't know if you saw that block with Matthew. Again, let's take the time to congratulate Dejanay, averaging 12 points. The Sun advanced to the semis of the W finals, or the W playoffs. So yes, a tremendous season for her, both on and off the court. And yes, thank you, sis, for giving me a point.
I was going to say, and for giving you a win. All right, next up, Big Perk. You were the champ last year, so time to see if you can go back to back. Who said, quote, I want to be one of them ones. I've been talking about it, and I've been making mistakes. This stuff can't happen. It's time to take every game personal. Was it Ja Morant? Was it Jordan Poole? Or was it Zion Williamson?
I ain't gonna lie, I've been off the internet, you know what I mean? So I ain't been able to cheat. That's how I won last year. But listen, I'ma go with Zion Williamson on this one. I'm gonna go with Zion on this one.
Zion Williamson.
Talk to me.
Here he comes.
There we go.
There it is. He told this quote to The Athletic, and Kendrick Perkins, you were right back up there on the board. Zion saying he wants to be one of them ones. What do you expect from Zion this year, Perk?
Oh, I said it the other day, Malik, and I'm going to say it now. Last year, he was the second most dominant player in the league outside of Giannis. He's going to continue to do that, especially if he's playing the 5 position, which I believe he's going to do a lot of this season for the Pillars.
Well, that's what Bobby Marks just laid out for us. All right, Bobby, you're up next. Ready? Which current general manager said, quote, social media is a sport, but scrolling is a lifestyle? Was it Daryl Morey, Sam Presti, or current GM Adrian Wojnarowski?
The Woj picture threw me off here. I'm going to say it's the Picasso of the press conferences, Sam Presti.
Was it Sam Presti? Ding, ding, ding.
We've said before, social media is a sport, but scrolling is a lifestyle.
I mean, put it on a t-shirt, right?
He's got the best. He needs to be my speechwriter moving forward.
I think we needed to make these more difficult, producer Condis, producer Davison, because everyone is 3 for 3. This last one is for the group, consensus, and it's a little bit of a throwback here because Media Day is right around the corner. So this is last year, all right? Last year, who said this about the Bucks getting Damian Lillard? Quote, I'm happy for Dame, but I'm still going to be me. I'm going to go beat Dame, Giannis, and Adrian Griffin at the time on our way to a title. Was it Jimmy Butler? Was it Joel Embiid, or was it Drew Holiday? Perk's already champing at the bit.
Oh, this is easy.
It's easy.
It's easy.
All right,
that's
who do you?
Jimmy.
Is Jimmy? Does everyone agree?
Yeah, that's Jimmy.
It was Jimmy.
I think it's Joel Embiid.
Oh, well, sorry to tell you, this is why he won last year.
I think you're
to
wrong.
Be somebody that, he's wanted, where he has a chance to win the championship. Still gonna be me. I'm gonna go beat Dame, Giannis, and Adrian Griffin. On our way to a title.
The question is, can they do that this year?
They can. They got to be healthy, though. They cannot be hanging around that playing spot, fighting just to get in. They've got to find themselves in the top 6.
Mr. Marks, on this show, I advise you.
Hello. Jimmy Butler's future is generating a lot of debate, especially after statements by Miami Heat President Pat Riley, which raised doubts about the star's permanence. Butler, at 35 years old, is a player known for his leadership and defensive impact, but he is at a stage where his physical decline may begin to affect his performance. This leaves the Heat facing a crucial decision: keep Butler and pursue another title, or trade him for assets that can guarantee the future of the franchise. 2 teams that have shown interest are the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers, looking to strengthen their roster around LeBron James and Anthony Davis, are offering a package that includes D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, youngsters Jalen Hood-Schifino, and Dalton Knecht, as well as a 2031 first-round pick. Russell would make an immediate impact with his scoring and playmaking ability, while Hachimura adds defensive versatility. The young players represent future potential, but the success of this trade depends on their development. The Golden State Warriors, on the other hand, are offering a proposal that combines established talents and promising young players. The package includes Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Kevin Looney, Gary Payton II, and a 2026 first-round pick. Wiggins, with experience and defensive versatility, and Kuminga, a young prospect with great potential, are the highlights. Looney and Payton add defensive strength, something that fits the Miami Heat's style. Both proposals have their advantages. The Lakers offer more long-term growth potential, while the Warriors provide an immediate impact, with players who are already established. The Miami Heat will have to decide which path to follow, a choice that could shape the team for years to come and affect the fight for the NBA title. Thanks for watching. Leave your comment below. A hug and see you next time.